How is it possible in a country that you have the best scientists, best hospitals, best doctors, best of everything, best of scientific minds, more than 50% of our population is sick? Diabetic, hypertension, obesity, vision problem, leaky gut, and all of that. Hi everyone, my name is Michael Petrosian. I'm with American Brand, and the purpose of this video is how to heal America. And right now, most Americans, almost all of us, we're sitting at home. Most people, they're stressed out. They live in anxiety, depression. They have a fear of unknown, what's going to happen tomorrow. And we are suffering. As an American, we're suffering. Coronavirus is such a virus that it doesn't care about your race, does not care about your socioeconomic status, whether you're poor or rich, does not care about your age, does not care about whether or not you support Republicans or Democrats. So, but we have to understand why we are here. How did we get here? That our entire economy is shut down, and when you go outside, you don't remember the world that you were living in. Everything is closed. Everybody's wearing a face mask. Everywhere you want to go, you have to have some sort of a protection, your gloves and what have you. So, but the most important thing here is that how is it possible that we live in a country that we have the most advanced science, we have the most advanced hospitals, doctors, we have incredible minds, incredible scientists, but this is where we are. We are at the point that most economists believe that we're going to have a depression, and people, they're losing their businesses, and nobody knows what's going to happen. So in order to understand why we are here and how we can change it, how we can heal America, we have to go back. We have to start to understand why we are here. You see, I'm an entrepreneur, and there is something very powerful that says that one of the reasons that most people, they don't have financial freedom is because they don't have financial education. You don't get financial education when you go to school. You get financial education from people like economists that they talk on YouTube, people that they teach you in YouTube, and you read about it, you practice, and you educate yourself. You have to get financial education. The same way where we are today, we have to have health education. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I'm a person that I have researched for 5 years. I've read and researched for the past 5 years, and I wanted to share this information with you. A lot of information I'm going to share with you. Some of you may not understand. Some of you may not believe. I encourage you to go and do your own research. You have to wake up. You have to understand what is going on. So let's start to see why we are here today. How did we get here? So, and again, as far as the time frame that I'm using, I don't want you to think that, I remember every single thing, but for the most part, I want to talk about facts, information that I've researched, and I want to share with you. So there is a system, and everything and everybody is controlled by the system. So I'm going to go through some examples so you can understand how this started. So back in 40s, 50s, tobacco companies, they wanted to sell cigarettes. And in order for them to sell the cigarettes, they needed the customers, you and I. But how can they sell tobacco and make profit if you don't know what it is, you don't know what kind of effect it's going to have on your body? So what they do, they start making it cool. So they use Hollywood. They start making movies. They start making billboards. Everywhere you go, they put a motto that smoking a cigarette. And smoking cigarette, it became such a normal thing that everybody from age of 14 all the way to 80 years old, they start smoking cigarettes. And for years and years and years, they advertised smoking cigarette, it's cool, it's great. But one of the most important things that everybody has to understand is that tobacco companies, they used media, they used TV, radio, billboards to create such an atmosphere that there is nothing wrong with smoking cigarette, and it's absolutely perfectly fine. Now, I'm going to use media, and I want you to understand that this information that I'm giving you, it's based on facts, and you can do your own research. And I encourage you again to do your own research. When you go today, you buy a pack of cigarettes. On the cigarette box, it says, smoking cigarette may cause cancer. But the funny part is how many people actually they pay attention. People, they smoke cigarettes. They die. They get a cancer, they lung collapse, they create a lot of problem. But media to this day pushes the idea that smoking cigarette is absolutely fine. So then when the system starts seeing that people are like a slave, so they said, you know what? If we are created as cigarettes and people, they smoke cigarette and they die. We even put on a box, smoking cigarette can cause cancer, but yet we make billions upon billions of dollars of profit. So why not expand this idea? Because the idea of a system is to control human beings. What is a human being? Human being is when you can have a freedom of speech, you can have freedom of choice. You know, you can eat what you want, you can drink what you want, you can go where you want, you can make a decision, about color, what kind of food you like, what color do you like, what kind of a car you want to drive, where do you want to live, and you have that freedom. But if you have that freedom, and if you have a freedom of thinking, and if you educate yourself, that's a problem for the system. Because the problem is right now that you're not going to just do whatever the system is telling you because you have your own mind. However, the system is extremely powerful and extremely sharp, and they know how to manipulate your minds so they can control you. So the next step that they came in, they start coming up with a GMO and start making food cheap, and they start advertising carb is the most incredible thing for your body. You eat carbs, that's fantastic. What is carb? Carb is a sugar, it's not a big deal. You eat carb, okay, that's an energy which your body needs because your body needs sugar to convert to energy. Well, what's wrong by eating sugar? What's wrong by eating pizza, pasta, fast food, sodas, cookies, cakes? It's fantastic. They taste good. They convert sugar to energy. and is cheap because it's a GMO. And now we have a society that we accept the fact that eating carb is the most perfect thing. Now, let's go and check to see what's going to happen with eating sugar. And I'm going to explain something to you from my own experience that I had about 5 years ago. So about 5 years ago, I had a trauma. So I was very close to my dad. My dad had a stroke. He was in and out of hospital for about a year and a half. So that trauma itself, it caused tremendous amount of stress on my body. So I had to go and see what's going on with my body. What should I do? So I go to my doctor, and he says, well, we have to do the blood work, and then we're going to determine to see what we could do for you. Okay, so I do the blood work. I go back. My doctor walks into the room, and he says that, well, I don't have good news for you because your blood sugar is elevated, you have high cholesterol, and you may end up having hypertension, meaning high blood pressure. You may have vision problem, and so you are a type 2 diabetic, and I'm going to give you medications, and you have to take this for the rest of your life. So he gave me the prescription, and I walk out, I come home, and I sit down, and I say, wait a minute. So I have to take 4 different types of medication for the rest of my life?